What's going on YouTube? This is Brian with Canvas the Town, coming at you with another Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak video. This time I wanted to make a general video just talking about what I really like about Sunbreak's endgame. So in Sunbreak's endgame, you're fighting a lot of afflicted mons, right? And if you're not fighting afflicted mons, once you get to the end, you're fighting a lot of risen elder dragons, right? And in general, you pretty much are, throughout the end game, you're min-maxing, you're trying to maximize your skills or maximize having comfort skills along with your damage skills, right? Stuff like that. You're augmenting your armor, looking for better rolls, you're looking for just ways to optimize your build on the grind all the way up to anomaly rank 300. Now, I can see the argument that a lot of people make that the grind is pretty long and arduous right now. And I definitely agree. It's a long grind, but by the time we get the June update, we will certainly have better quality of life for grinding. I don't know about all the way up to 300, but I wouldn't be surprised if you do, because it's a pretty long grind right now. But I've still had a lot of fun doing the grind. I still haven't quite hit level 300. I'm like 290 something, and I'm just taking my time. Because, of course, this is it for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. And I know there's a lot of discourse on YouTube of people that don't like Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, saying that this is like really a bad turn for the series. But as someone who is new with Sunbreak, I really enjoyed this game. I've really been enjoying this game, and it's not over, even though it's towards the end. And I really, especially as it being my first Monster Hunter game, which is something that I've noticed, at least on YouTube, a lot of people did not start with Monster Hunter Rise. A lot of people started with Monster Hunter World, which after playing base Rise, I did go and play through Iceborne right after getting through base Rise, because base Rise, when it was brand new on the Nintendo Switch, I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. But of course it was really quick and it wasn't very challenging, but you know, just getting used to the whole mechanics of Monster Hunter, I felt like Monster Hunter Rise was a really good introduction to the series and made me essentially a lifelong fan for the series. And then when I went to play World and Iceborne, I loved those games. Those games were really good games. But I really like the fast-paced style of Rise. I really like the wire bugs. You know, I think it's really cool movement. I think it offers difficulty in ways that is completely different for the series, because usually the hunter kind of, even in Monster Hunter World, the hunter feels a little helpless against some of these monsters. Like, you know, there's how can you avoid stuff without Superman dive and playing really smart and strategically, whereas with this game you're kind of like a superhero, right? You're really strong and nothing's gonna stop you. I mean, you're playing even like the hunting horn, you're doing massive damage, and the monster's staggering all over the place, and if you get hit, you can wirefall. But I often find that when you take advantage of playing like that and playing very greedy, being a very greedy hunter, and going for those, long infinite combos and big damage, and slotting all, only big damage skills. And ultimately, the game does ramp up in difficulty after you get past, I'd say, 241. Let me know in the comments if you agree. But yeah, around 241, you start to see, you start to get two-shot if you're not running a lot of comfort skills. You're fighting Risen Shags, you're fighting Valstrax. Like, these mons are gonna beat you up. These are some pretty hardcore mons. And for me, I mean, after playing all of the big hunts in Iceborne, like the weekly hunts, Alatreon, stuff like that, all of the major mods, I mean, in general, they're really cool hunts. I really like them a lot. But there's not as much variety as you get in Sunbreak, where even like little mons can be a giant threat, like little baby mons. If you're not paying attention, they'll kill you. There's something to fighting these endgame monsters in Sunbreak where they're not very scripted, and their tells, while they have tells, they're very quick, and sometimes it really feels a little, I don't want to use the word luck, but it is kind of like a little bit luck based. Like, will you get the stagger on the monster before it does the attack, or are you gonna, you're gonna get wailed on by some big attack? And if you see them winding up, it's like, all right, you've got a very limited amount of time. Sometimes you know, you can't just sheath your weapon and Superman dive in the time that Valstrax takes to murder you. And another good point is with the wire bug, something that maybe it's just me, maybe it's just a skill problem. I'll own it if that's the case. But I've totally wirefalled to my death many times. I've wirefalled right into attacks. I've wirefalled right into the AoEs sitting in the ground. Like, you know, like maybe fighting even something as silly as Risen Chameleos. You just like, you try to wirefall away from his attack and you run into like an AoE, like poison that's just chilling on the floor. And then you die. It's very funny. The game really there's a hyper focus on being very, very aware of what's going on at all times, looking around you and making very split-second decisions that are very literally life or death when you're fighting these endgame anomaly, you know, 241 plus monsters that just keep getting more health, and they're just very, very aggressive. And they're pretty non-stop, and their damage is buffed up. It's, you know, it could feel a little overwhelming at times, definitely. Like you could cart for what feels like bogus, but it was just because it was such a split-second decision. And I think that that's a good thing, and that this game needed that. It needed that, like, you know, punishing hunters that aren't really like going for, you know, taking care of themselves, taking care of like having health, having you know, health recovery skills and things of that nature, right? Or to be more specific, stuff like divine blessing is really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about recovery up, recovery speed. I don't know why I said that. It's really more divine blessing. Some people might even say you want, you know, defense boosts and stuff like that. And I feel like it is almost necessary now in the end game that we're in, which is cool. I mean, it's nice that stuff really hurts, that you gotta actually prepare for it. And I don't mind failing missions, you know? I mean, when you're in the end game of Sunbreak, at the end of the day, and maybe this is just my own viewpoint, maybe you don't agree, but for me, it's a game, right? And as much as I love the game, at some point it has to be over. So if you lose your quest, it's really not the end of the world. It's just more time that you get to play your game and have fun, right? And at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. Now, for me, this end game, grinding for the min-maxing is really, really fun. I've made a lot of videos on the channel with just different min-max ideas, you know, slotting all these crazy skills and going ham with set building. And that's really, for me, the best thing about Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, is that you have really, really good set building quality of life. There's so much you can do with your sets. Like, even in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, these monsters, like, their sets, you know, you're stuck to wearing certain pieces for certain skills. And with augments and curio talismans, now if you want certain skills, you need just a little bit of patience and luck, and you certainly will have the time and the rolls, because, you know, the grind to 300 is quite long and arduous, my friend. So you will be grinding, you will be doing quests, getting your curio melds, doing all of these things. And to me, that's a fun metagame. That's a fun end game. To, you know, just focus on your min-max, have your set. Basically, you know, by the time you start anomaly heart rank increasing, you basically have your set, right? Because armor sets are very generous in this game, you know, just as much as Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. Now, I'm not an old school hunter, so I am very spoiled and love having, you know, all of these different skills you could have. And I know in the old games it was super not like that, and some people don't like that. And you're totally free to your opinion. I am a New World hunter, right? I am not even a New World hunter. I'm a Kimura hunter, okay? I started in Monster Hunter Rise, right? And when you start in Monster Hunter Rise, you're going to have some preferences if you really enjoy the game. I mean, I played a little bit of GU, and being a Rise baby, I was kind of incapable of making big progress in that game. Me and my friends who really love Rise got our butts kicked in like high rank in that game and barely got through low rank. And it's like, I certainly do want to go back and learn how to play in that style, because there's just so much content there and so many cool, you know, cool enemies, cool monsters. But the quality of life changes from Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. For me, far and above are just boons for the series. You know, like having stuff like infinite whetstones, having stuff like easy ways to farm, you know, all of your materials right from the get-go in the game, and like not really needing tons of like, you know, potions and stuff like that. I think that that's a good thing. You know, I don't think that the game should continue to get, you know, harder in future series, and I don't think that they will. I mean, I don't know if they'll make the next game quite like this, but you know, I certainly wouldn't be mad if the wire bug made a return. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but I figure there must be some people out there that hopefully agree with me, or maybe you disagree with me, but that's all good. Let me know your opinion in the comments. And this video was fun to make. I'm still enjoying the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak Endgame a lot, and I'll be posting new content every week. I'm going to slow down a little bit as, you know, maybe up until Title Update 6. There's not going to be quite as much. I've definitely made a lot of content so far, and I do have some more stuff. But with Tears of the Kingdom coming out, I'll be enjoying that game as an OG Zelda fan. I'm going to have to take my time and enjoy that game, and I'll certainly make some content on it. Hopefully you guys enjoy, but if not, just keep in mind there will still be more Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak content for the foreseeable future and the life cycle of this game, because I've really been enjoying it, and I see you guys out there watching the videos, hitting that like, the subscribe, the comment. I really appreciate your support, and I'm going to keep on going and making this content because I really do enjoy it myself. And yeah, I'm just happy to see that you guys are along for the ride. Thanks so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think of the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak Endgame. And peace out.